It's time we talk about the gays. Well, to be accurate, it's time mainstream media companies in the Philippines talk about the gays, properly and insightfully, accounting for the diverse intricacies in sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, and telling truthful tales about their experiences. Let's start with a few important definitions. The concept of bakla and tomboy have always dominated Filipino conceptions of the LGBT. But while homosexuality is a Western idea associated with sexual preference, bakla is a unique local concept that connotes behavior, reflecting the identity of the effeminate or cross dressing male. Meanwhile, tomboy is the parallel for a cross dressing female. Given this, we will focus today on how mainstream media, specifically in television and cinema, has relied on simplistic but profitable bakla archetypes in the representation of the LGBT. We will also analyze the reasons for this using relevant mass communication concepts later. Let's start with the present, with comedian celebrity Vice Ganda's films, which have been box office hits in recent years. In these movies, the bakla is shown to be an effeminate crossdresser, but more notably, the butt of everyone's jokes. More than that, serious issues faced by the LGBT community are laughed off. For instance, in both Sister Akas and Girl Boy Bakla Tomboy, some characters use male pronouns to address both transgender protagonists, despite their insistence on using female pronouns. This is framed as all part of the joke. But why rely on humor? Well, because it's popular and profitable. Sister Akas didn't just top box office sales of the 2012 Metro Manila Film Festival, for which it was an entry, it also broke national records, garnering the highest box office sales for a local film. Girl, Boy, Bakla, Tomboy surpassed Sister Akas in box office sales a year later. Both were produced jointly by Star Cinema and Viva Films, two of the largest film production companies in the Philippines. And guess what? The parent organization of Star Cinema is ABS-CBN. GMA Films, another top film production company, is owned by GMA Network. ABS-CBN and GMA Network are two of the largest entertainment and media conglomerates in the country. These examples show a concept in mass communication called concentration of ownership, in which media industries are dominated by select corporate giants that are primarily after profit, not quality content. This media oligopoly reduces diversity in information and shrinks the marketplace of ideas in favor of shallow perspectives that sell better. In our case, when representing the LGBT, media companies choose one-dimensional depictions of the bakla, reducing the bakla and those he represents into comic relief for audiences. Never mind that the sheer diversity of LGBT identities cannot be distilled into a single profitable bakla caricature. How did we get to this point? Let's explore media history. The first bakla archetype, the parloristang bakla, rose in the 1950s and was popularized by Dolphy, a famous comedian actor. Here, the bakla is portrayed as a screaming, hip-swaying, fan-waving, effeminate crossdresser, typically employed as a hairdresser or a makeup artist. It all started with Dolphy playing parloristang bakla Goryo in the 1954 comedy film Jack and Jill. Here's the thing. Jack and Jill was produced by Sampaguita Pictures, one of the earliest and longest-running film producers in the country, thus placing Goryo and the parloristang bakla at the forefront of LGBT representation in the media at that time. Future films featuring bakla protagonists followed suit. This shows us just how influential media giants are. Because past media giants made the parloristang bakla the template, the bakla was then relegated to the genres of melodrama and comedy. This still affects media today, and in turn, this shapes the way we view and treat the bakla and those associated with him, namely the LGBT. Why is this important? Because in the eyes of mainstream media, to earn means to cast aside the inconvenient, the complex, the unpopular. And as media further gets integrated into our lives, the power of the media to influence our minds and realities only grows. So we must be vigilant and critical of the media, of the stories they show, but more importantly, the ones they choose to leave untold.